Well, the economy is strengthening, the labor market tightening, inflation nearing the Fed's target. That is what the new Fed chief, Jerome Powell, told lawmakers in his first big congressional testimony on the economy today. And while all that sounds like a good thing to traders, it means the possibility of more interest rate hikes this year than Wall Street expects. And that sent bond yields a little bit higher and stocks sharply lower. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped nearly 300 points to 25,410. The Nasdaq fell 91, and the S&P 500 was off 35. Steve Liesman has more on the Fed chair's public debut.
Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, in his inaugural testimony before Congress, giving an upbeat view on the economy, saying he expects inflation to return to the 2% target, and saying the Federal Reserve is trying to balance bringing inflation up and dealing with a potential overheated economy. And that gave the market a spook. In Powell's premiere, he opened the door in a subtle way to a potential fourth rate hike this year. He spoke with incredible authority and specificity on bank regulations, saying he wanted the Federal Reserve to reduce regulations on small and medium-sized banks. He was more market-centric than his predecessor, Janet Yellen, and showed less concern with inequality than Yellen had. Powell was asked by a member of Congress what would it take for the Fed to change its view, on average, that there would be 3 rate hikes this year.
We've seen fiscal policy become more stimulative. So I think each of us is going to be taking the developments since the December meeting into account and writing down our new rate paths as we go into the March meeting, and I wouldn't want to prejudge that.
J.P. Morgan, in a commentary after the testimony, said, quote, "Today's comments appear to open the door for others on the committee to revise their forecast as they see fit, and that Powell himself may be inclined to look for 4 hikes this year." The U.S. 10-year certainly got the message at 10:40, right when Powell made those remarks. The 10-year shot up by about 5 basis points into the 292 and 293 area. The probabilities of Fed rate hikes this year also rose. Markets now see a 97% chance of a rate hike in March, a 71% chance of a second rate hike in June, and a 66% chance of a December rate hike. A fourth rate hike given a 27% probability. That's low, but higher than it was before his testimony. Powell will testify again on Thursday before the Senate, and his first testimony next month when the Federal Reserve meets and is expected then to raise interest rates. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Steve Liesman.